Every single development team out there faces them. Those show-stopping bugs that just grind everything to a halt. But what if we started looking at these bugs, not as problems, but as hidden opportunities? We're going to dive into a real-world story about a bug that seemed impossible to solve, and how the journey to fix it actually created a priceless asset for the entire team.
Yeah, and this quote, it really gets to the heart of it, doesn't it? The way we tackle these tough problems, and maybe more importantly, how we remember how we solved them, well, that's what builds the real culture of our teams. It's so much more than just lines of code. It's about laying a solid foundation for everyone who comes after us.
So let's set the scene. I want you to imagine a dev team where all work has just stopped, dead in its tracks. And the cause? A critical tool, one they built themselves, is completely and utterly broken. Welcome to the crime scene.
The team was in a really tough spot here. Their own custom tool, AI JIT, which they'd built to make their lives easier, was now the very thing blocking them. They were stuck. I mean, literally paralyzed by their own creation and couldn't ship anything.
So there's a term for this, right? It's called dogfooding, and it's an absolutely vital feedback loop. When you use your own stuff, you find the sharp edges before your customers do, but in this case, that loop wasn't just bent, it was completely severed. The team couldn't just switch to another task. Their entire process was held hostage by the tool they built.
The developer on this ticket did exactly what you or I would do. They started debugging. They followed a super systematic, logical process, but it just led them deeper and deeper down a rabbit hole that, frustratingly, went absolutely nowhere.
And get this, the team actually had a formal process for this exact situation. They called it their debugging decision tree. It's this structured model designed to stop you from just spinning your wheels. You start simple, check your environment, and then if you're really stuck, you pivot. But even with this roadmap, our developer was still totally lost.
I mean, they tried everything. All the by-the-book solutions that should have worked. They refactored the code to follow best practices. They double-checked all the packaging rules. They nuked the local build and the global cache. They even burned the whole virtual environment to the ground and rebuilt it from scratch. And every single time, same result. Failure. You can just imagine the frustration.
This is that moment, right? That feeling of hitting a true dead end. You followed every rule in the book, the code is perfect, your setup is clean, and yet the system just doesn't care. It's that maddening point where a problem starts to feel truly impossible.
Okay, so here is where everything changes. This is the critical turn in the investigation. When every fix you try fails, the only real path forward is to stop trying to fix and start trying to learn. This pivot from fixing to observing is what broke the whole case wide open.
Just think about it for a second. Your main theory that it's some kind of packaging or environment bug has been shot down again and again and again. What's your next move? Well, you have to start questioning your most basic assumptions.
So, the developer's new hypothesis, born out of sheer desperation, was that the entire build system was just broken. And the only way to test that wasn't to keep poking the broken tool, it was to use a control. Another, similar tool called AI DocWriter that they knew worked. If that control also failed, then okay, the whole system's the problem. But if it succeeded, well, then the problem was hiding somewhere inside AI Git.
And it worked. It worked perfectly. This was the breakthrough moment. It proved the build system was fine, the environment was healthy, and that a fix was actually possible. It completely blew up the everything is broken theory and brought the focus right back to where it needed to be, proving that the answer, however tiny, was in the AI Git tool itself.
So finding that one little obscure fix, man, what a huge relief. But, and this is the key part, that was only half the battle. The real lasting value didn't come from the fix itself. It came from what the developer decided to do next, to document the entire journey.
Every team runs on this stuff. It's all that unwritten wisdom, those hard-earned lessons that only come from banging your head against the wall on tough problems. But because it's unwritten, it's so fragile. When someone on the team leaves, all that knowledge can just walk right out the door with them.
So instead of just, closing the ticket and calling it a day, the developer did something brilliant. They created what they called a tribal log. And this wasn't just a quick summary of the fix. No, it was a full-blown story of the whole investigation,
Every wrong turn, every failed theory, and of course, the crucial control experiment that finally led to the answer.
And this, right here, was the golden nugget, the big lesson captured in that log. All those theoretically correct ideas failed. The breakthrough came from a simple, real-world test, just observing that another tool worked. This log didn't just capture what was fixed, it captured how the team should think about solving the next impossible problem.
All right, so let's zoom out and look at the big picture here. By taking the time to document the whole messy process, the team turned a single, incredibly frustrating bug into a piece of foundational knowledge, a cornerstone for the whole organization.
And this is why it matters so much. This whole practice has real, tangible payoffs. It gets teams on the same page so you're not wasting time solving the same problem twice. It helps new people get up to speed way faster. And it makes the entire codebase easier to maintain, which cuts down on future headaches. It's a win-win-win.
And look, the data totally backs this up. Research shows that teams who are really good at documentation and automated testing can spend up to 50% less time fixing bugs in production. 50%! That's half their time they get back to actually build cool new things instead of just fighting fires.
So, at the end of the day, that's the real transformation here. Something like a tribal log takes that fleeting aha moment, that spark of individual discovery, and turns it into a solid, reusable asset for the entire team. A bug fix is temporary, right? But a shared lesson, that becomes the bedrock you can build everything else on.
So I want to leave you with a question to chew on, something to take back to your own team. You know you've solved hard problems, the kind that take days of painful investigation. So, where's the log? Where is the story of that investigation? Is it just locked away in someone's head? Or is it a shared asset that's making everyone on your team stronger?